Welcome to the Write, Publish, Market podcast. If you're an entrepreneur considering writing a book to serve your business, you're in the right place. Or maybe you've already decided. That's even better. I'm your host, Jodi Brandon, book publishing partner for entrepreneurs and 20-year veteran of the book publishing industry. On the Write, Publish, Market podcast, in addition to learning from me, you'll meet entrepreneurs just like you and hear about their experiences as we explore all facets of writing, publishing, and marketing a book that will help your business grow in ways you might not even have dreamed of yet. I recently described self-publishing to a client, a one-on-one client, as a choose your own adventure. And as the phrase was coming out of my mouth, I realized I needed to record a podcast episode about that. So here we are today. So what do I mean when I say that? Just like there are three paths to publication, hybrid publishing, traditional publishing, self-publishing, and no one path is the right path for everybody. When you commit to self-publishing, it's still a choose your own adventure. There are still so many options at every single stage. Anything you're doing under the writing phase, anything you're doing under the publishing phase, anything you're doing under the marketing phase. If you talk to 100 different authors, you will hear 100 different ways that their book came to publication in the way that it did. And not everything is going to be the same. Probably very little is going to be the same, to be perfectly honest. So let's break down that, choose your own adventure, because I think it was probably top of mind because I babysat my niece, one of my nieces, the night before this particular client's coaching call. And she loves those books. She loves the Choose Your Own Adventure books. So we had been reading a couple of those. And so I think it was fresh in my mind. But it really does make sense if you think about it, okay? There are things that are skippable. There are things that are not skippable at all different phases, of your book project, right? There are, let's say I want to go down this path. Do I have to have my book copy edited? No. Does that mean I should skip that? Probably not, right? I would say definitely not. There are some people who would say probably not. But then you have something like cover creation. Do I have to have a cover for my book? Well, yes, I do. But what does that look like? Okay, so I've gone down that path. Yes, I'm going to have a cover for my book. Now I'm going down the path of designing a cover myself, buying a template, paying for, a designer to create a custom cover. Which of those paths am I going to take? So you have to figure out what makes the most sense for you and your book project. I will say this as sort of a blanket statement. The more you're willing and able to invest in your book, the better your chances of success with that book will be. However, the caveat here is you define success. You determine what success looks like for your book project, and then build the team and choose the tasks that will best support that vision to help you achieve that success, right? Maybe that means hiring a ghostwriter versus writing the book yourself. Maybe that means working with a book coach versus not working with a book coach, but doing the writing yourself. Maybe that means hiring a typesetter versus learning to do the typesetting yourself in a design program. Maybe that means getting the book indexed versus not having an index. Maybe that means hiring someone to do, a conscious language read through edit versus not. Maybe that means hiring a book marketing firm versus doing the marketing yourself. Or maybe that means hiring a launch specialist for the launch, but then handling the ongoing marketing yourself. There are all of these decisions at all phases of book writing, publishing, and marketing. And it can be overwhelming because there are a lot of moving pieces. So one of the questions you should definitely be asking yourself, by the way, is, would a project manager make sense for my book project? And if that's a yes, then the next, question that you ask yourself is, do I need to hire someone dedicated to this? Or could my current virtual assistant, whoever you have on your team, is this something that they have room for on their plate and or the expertise for? So you've got decisions to make all along the way. But what you want to do is, just like we talk about in the writing process, thinking about that North Star as the promise that you're delivering to your reader, thinking about what success looks like for you in your mind, how you're defining it for your book project. That's your North Star here as you're, choosing your own adventure as you go down this writing, publishing, and marketing path. Hey, business owner, if you've listened to this podcast for a while now, you know how important I think a writing routine is, preferably one that's in place before you begin that book writing, though it's never too late. So if you'd like some guidance in developing one, I've created the Ready, Set, Write Challenge for you to help you figure out where, when, and how you're the most productive writer. That's going to make your book writing so much more efficient. Check out jodibrandoneditorial.com/ready, set, write. Now back to the show. You've got to figure out what makes sense, what you can afford, where your zone of genius is and where your zone of genius is not, what kind of time you have, what you have the capacity for. And then you kind of figure out how you're going to get to that finish line quicker and avoiding the most obstacles. And that's going to look different for every single one of us. So that's why I often encourage clients, followers on social media, people that I talk to in real life about, that are publishing a book, working on a book. Don't get caught up in the comparison trap game. Because even if you do the exact same things as someone else, the outcome is not going to be the same because you probably don't have the exact same goal for your book. You don't have the exact same audience. You don't have the exact same zone of genius. All of these different things that all come into play as you are, getting yourself to that finish line. So remember that there is no one right way and that you can always go back. If you decide, I don't think I'm going to invest in copy editing. And again, I do not recommend that. I had a lot of beta feedback. I used, Grammarly, and I'm not going to invest in a copy editor. And then you publish the book. You can always go back and hire an editor and republish that book. You can always go back and add an index and republish that book. You've heard me say this before also, once the book is out there, the book is out there. So you can make changes. You can, do a revised edition, something like that. So don't think that, I'm done. That's the end of it. I guess if I made a mistake, I made a mistake. I should have hired this person. I should have gone down that road instead of that road. I should have done this. I should, have done this as a marketing idea. You can still do all of those things. So that's part of the beauty of self-publishing, the control that you have when you self-publish, right? That's one of the things that's so appealing to self-publishing authors, especially those of us who are business owners, who are using the book as a tool in our business, is that, our process is not going to be the same as other people's. Certainly look at what other people are doing, see what trends are, what things generally seem to be working. But make sure that you are doing things along your adventure that are getting you to that North Star of success as you've defined it for your book. So, plus it's fun to gamify things, right? It's fun to gamify things. So I'm glad that I was babysitting and came across these books to read with my niece, and that it now has sparked all of these other creative ideas for me. So think about that when you are, in the throes of making decisions about your book. Think about it like a choose your own adventure. And hopefully that will help you figure out how to go down that path and get you to that finish line quicker. And again, with fewer obstacles. So that's it for today, friends. Until next time, keep writing. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Write, Publish, Market podcast. I know just how busy your schedule is as a business owner, so I'm grateful you've taken some time out of yours to journey into the world of book publishing with me today. If you are looking for even more book writing, marketing, and publishing information and support, check out my mentorship membership, the Author Entrepreneurs Lab, where each month we take a deep dive into one element of the book world with education, a Q&A session with me, your book publishing expert, resources, co-writing times, and so much more. You can learn more at the link in the show notes. I hope to see you inside the lab.